All right, we are back. So we have our next matchup, which is Tyler versus Hermes. Let's pull this up. Why don't we start on Hermes' side here?
Yeah. I mean,
You don't need to say yeah like that. He's got good players. You trade his team for him.
he needed two losses to reach 100, and he's blown right through it and got to 104. Um, he's due. I mean, if I'm gonna bet on anyone, like I lock me in right now, Hermes -5. You know me, I'm a regression guy. Hermes is due. He's due for a win. Odd numbers say a win's coming his way. But let's take a look at his matchups a little bit. Stroud against Green Bay. I think that's a smash play.
Yep.
Montgomery against Minnesota. Maybe Minnesota's defense is for real if they show it this game. That could be something that bites Hermes with Brown and Montgomery. But I mean that Detroit offense is so good. I'd be surprised if they don't move the ball. Jacobs against Houston. Another good play. McLaurin's been underratedly killing it. That's been a huge
Yep.
pickup for Hermes here. These last 4 weeks. Oh my God. He's been an every week player, which is exactly what Hermes needed with Cup going down. And same with Montgomery too. It's someone else that I definitely wish I had right now, but felt like I needed to get the draft pick in the offseason. That would have been that'd be nice on the squad right now. RB
Running back
six.
six. He's already had his bye, and his lowest points is 14.5 on the season.
That's actually insane. I
Oh
didn't need
man.
this right now. But it's just amazing, right? We're going through him and Rashid's team. It's just like the luck of fantasy. I mean, he's putting up points and he's got the highest points against. It happens to someone every year, and I think it's actually going to be back-to-back years for Hermes if the season ended today on highest points against total.
Yep.
Um, and JT, I think that's hopeful. A little bit, maybe wishful thinking right now. I don't know. Is JT? Does that say on the side there? Said that
Out.
running back will not play. Wow. Okay, so he's just out. So who's his? Let's see. We'll play the game now. Who's his fill-in? Mooney. You probably make a case for.
Probably Mooney, right?
Oh, I think.
Maybe
While
Addison with Detroit.
well, sorry. While we were saying that, I think Cup is trending in the right direction, so it might just be an easy swap for him here. Limited practice. All right, so that'll be game time for him. I think he's got to get Cup in the lineup if Cup's playing. But I like the Addison call out too, and probably a high scoring game against Detroit.
He's definitely got three guys that he could sub in and feel good about.
Yeah.
All right. And then on Tyler's side, Jordan Love, I think you play him. Mason looks like he's good to go. Nick
hmm
Chubb, I know that his return was this week. This is kind of a gutsy play, but I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I like it. Ford out, right? Or Ford was banged up at the very least.
I know he was banged up, and geez, we've already made so many errors on this.
Yeah,
Was it a hamstring? It doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. AJ Brown, obviously, going to play him. Diggs has had some good play this year. Kelsey, you're going to play him. Jigba, I like that play. I
Yep.
don't think that there's really anyone that we would probably start over this. Maybe like a Zach Moss
Yeah,
swapping for Nick Chubb.
agreed. I think Tyler just picked up Booty today.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Um, yeah, I mean the one big thing that we should shout out is Aubrey on the bye. I don't know how it's gonna be tough for him to overcome Aubrey on the bye. I mean let's click on Aubrey real quick. I want to see what's his overall on the season.
top 50 for sure. 31.
31. I think Montgomery was 32 or maybe 29, so he's basically had the same season as David Montgomery.
Okay.
So yeah, that's gonna be tough for him to overcome. Probably his two best players on his roster with Aubrey and Lamb on a bye this week. So that'll be tough.
Okay. So I don't think that we would really, I mean, maybe Zach Moss is the only one that we consider starting over. Other than that, I think both of these rosters are pretty much locked in. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's got to trade out Taylor for Hermes.
You know what?
So, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, with all the chatter from Bum in the group about being pumped about May, and rightfully so, do you think he probably hesitated for a second getting May into the lineup against Jacksonville?
I don't think he hesitated for even a split second, Jack.
Love's been playing too well. I agree, but There's a case.
There's not a case. So 5 point spread. You said that you were going to take that for Hermes.
Yep, in a
0
big
and
way.
6 in a big spot. So we'll see. 5 point spread. I think that, I'm going to go with you. Hermes is going to win. He's going to win by more than five.
Yeah, I'll make my hot take of the week. I think this is a 25-point win for Hermes here.
Okay, we'll see. All right. Rough Dog versus Ryan. I guess before we get into this matchup, I know Ryan texted me saying that he wanted to let the league know that he loves his matchups this week. So let's take a look. Ryan also, you know what, before we even get into his matchups, Ryan's super toxic. Texting me on the side with this whole situation with Kareem Hunt, saying, trying to play you as the bad guy and then trying to play you as the bad guy in the group chat. And here I am trying to explain to Ryan, no, no, no. I texted Jack, I texted Rashid, that, hey, I didn't finalize this deal. This is on me.
We
You
squared
guys
it
go ahead
away.
and do this. Yeah. Ryan's just trying to stir the pot any way he can. He can't help himself. Also par for the course for him. But Williams, Pollard, then Jefferson, Godwin, Trey McBride, and Jaden Reed. Honestly, a really great, great lineup that he's got. I do like his matchups a lot, actually.
Yeah, yeah. We should stop and maybe we haven't given Ryan enough credit here on the Jaden Reed keep because I feel like he was probably one of the guys that we might have even laughed at as his keeper. And we were questioning whether some of these teams should make moves and acquire that seventh, eighth keeper. And I think we both had Jaden Reed highlighted in yellow as if like a kind of has to keep him is keeping him because he has to situation. And Ryan believed him, and he's been the wide receiver three on the year. So that has been a huge boost to his team, and that's even with a couple down weeks. So he's definitely a big hit or miss guy, but I
Yeah.
think he's shown that he gets enough touches week in and week out in that offense.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you. I don't necessarily think that we questioned it that much. We probably did have him as a yellow.
Yeah.
Um, I get it though. He had a decent end to last year, but these two games, Jack, the down weeks, that's when Love was out of the lineup.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a good
With
point. It's a great
with Love
point.
in the lineup, his floor is 11.7 points.
It was a question all offseason, like who's going to step up and be Love's guy
Yep.
in that offense,
Yeah.
and Jaden Reed is clearly has clearly been that guy.
Yeah. And I know when we talked about after the draft who we liked and disliked, it was Romeo Dobbs for Rashid, and then Bum with Wicks. And then
Yeah.
obviously I kept Watson and Ryan kept Reed. So I agree with you. Somebody was going to emerge from this offense, and it definitely looks like it's Jaden Reed at this point. So a huge hit for him.
Yeah, and I think that'll be something we touch on pretenders and contenders. Just Ryan looks like he's here for a run, and he hates me mentioning it because he thinks I'm jinxing him. But I like his team. I love the Penix bench.
Would you trade your team for his team?
I'd have to think about this one because Pittman's
Okay,
on this team. So
that's fair. All right, so his bench: Aaron Jones questionable, Akers just can't help himself. Zamir White, that was a good draft pick.
don't.
And Leggett, I think Leggett has actually had some really good games. Honestly, another hit for Ryan. He's been definitely wishy-washy, but he's wide receiver 61. Never mind.
Yeah, huge.
That's
He's
on
got
me. That's
106
on
yards
me.
in the
That's
season.
on me. All right. Marvin Harrison, I think he is out, if I'm not mistaken. Limited in practice. He has a concussion. He's probably going to be out, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
All right.
Ryan feels good about the guys ahead of him. It'd be one thing if he's deciding between like him and Michael Pittman, but those three guys they're locked and loaded.
Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and get into Ruff's team. Ruff, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, started 0 and 2.
Yeah, 4 game win streak right now.
Yeah. And then you put him on blast and you woke the
That's
demon
all he
up.
needed. That's all he needed.
That is all he needed,
I know my
apparently.
guy.
All right, so Brock Purdy at quarterback. I don't know what else he has. We'll take a look at it. Eckler, Tank Bigsby. I love this start.
Yeah, that projection is obviously wrong. I think it's projected like 5, 9, 6 points.
Yeah, that is definitely off. All right, Metcalf, Chase, Goddard, Samuel. I think that's a lock all there. Boswell and Minnesota. Singletary coming back. I think Mostert is ready to rock and roll, right? Did he
Yep.
play? He played last week too. 19 touches. Actually, 21
Jesus.
total. Yeah.
Obviously HN out, but still.
Yeah. Rashad White. I don't think that there's anyone. I mean, maybe Adams, but it's against Pittsburgh. I don't think that you can really start Adams against Pittsburgh
Yeah.
going to a new team.
Yeah, first week back, their first week there on a new team. You gotta expect him to probably play like half the snaps.
Yeah, so I think this is the right lineup. Does he not have a second quarterback?
Did he pick anyone up after Tua? Did he have someone for a few weeks? Maybe not.
Hey, he didn't need him. 4-0.
Didn't need him. No, I mean, hey, there's a case to be made that I know we're heading like we're in dynasty now, and you want to have these quarterbacks, but still, right now we're still only at 20 roster spots. Sometimes it's nice to not have the quarterback on the bench and have an extra spot for a chance in the waivers.
Yep. Alrighty, so where are we at on this? Wow, this is a big spread, but also Tank Bigsby with a very
Yeah.
low over under. So this is almost 20. Let's call it 19.
Do we want to project out Bixby? And I'm gonna play the books. The books have the wrong number here at 6, so I'm gonna take rough on the night plus 19.
I'm gonna go with you with rough on the 19. What do you think wins this?
I think Ryan does just because he's got like a few more studs playing. Eckler seems like a rough play. I'm ready to eat my words on it. I don't know if but I don't think there's anyone else that I would play necessarily over him. So it's
Against
tough.
Carolina.
Yeah, against Carolina, so they should have the ball more often than not. But with Brian Robinson back, that'll definitely be a split backfield.
I'm
Oh,
with you though. It's probably Ryan on this.
yeah.
All right.
I get that's a bit. I mean, hey, that we don't want to undersell two 4-2 teams. Someone's gonna be
Yeah,
5-2 after that week. That's
huge
huge into
game.
that clip.
All right. Last matchup of the week, we got Kevin versus Carney. Why don't
Yeah,
you
we
go
have a
ahead and
kicker
start off?
going.
Yeah, I think it was defense.
Oh,
Saints
right, Saints defense. Yeah, yeah, you said that.
in a big spot.
Yeah, I'll start off with Carney. Josh Allen getting Cooper this week. I think Tennessee underratedly has an okay defense, but they should control that game, and I'd be surprised if he doesn't have a big game. Brian Robinson, I know Carney's running back's been banged up the last couple weeks, so he's really checking the waiver wire this week and checking those injury reports. Stevenson, Robinson, and ETN too. I know ETN's on the wrong side, and it looks like that's why he doesn't have him in the lineup. So yeah, I think you gotta go Stevenson, you gotta go Robinson. Pickens is tough right now. Pickens has not played well.
Yeah,
Um,
against Sauce
even
Gardner
against
too.
the Jets. Yeah. Love the Devontae Smith play. We'll see what he's got on the bench. Laporta, and then Kirk against New England.
What does
Um,
he have for?
I mean, at least he's got Gibson to go in if Stevenson's out.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
I guess I think you think about playing Juju over Pickens here.
yeah. Listen, I know that I threw this out as a hero play last week with Luke McCaffrey, but he was like inches away from scoring last week. I got
Right.
one target, one catch. I will just throw that out there. Another whiff on the podcast for the boys.
DJ Moore's on a bye, so that makes sense why he looks seems a little bit thin. But this was our thing with Connor's team. He's a little bit
Yep.
thinner on the bench, and when these bye weeks come, they're gonna be tougher games to win. But be surprised if he doesn't get Juju in that lineup
Yeah.
by the end of the week.
I Pickens feels like a mistake. You got to put Juju in there.
You want to take the
Okay.
lead here on Kev.
Yep. So we got Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, George Kittle, James Cook. Let's just see. Your boy Fairbairn. Forgot about him.
Yep.
I don't think, yeah, there's no one that I would start over. I mean, can't argue with the lineup. He's got Derrick Henry, who has looked absolutely phenomenal all year long. I know we notoriously had him as a green. We got some flack for that, maybe rightfully so.
Rightfully
Uh,
so.
And Joe Mixon has just had a couple of huge games.
Yeah,
So 2 games that he's actually played a full game has been over 25 points.
that is insane.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill, I expect him to start getting like they've had a bye week to kind of figure things out. Like let's get Tyreek Hill the ball. I'm sure is going to be a big point of emphasis for him coming off the bye week, and then you just hope Tua comes back in the next couple of weeks and really gets him going to like wide receiver one status again.
We'll see.
That's what's scary. Well, that's what's scary about Kev's team. If he's sitting at 5-1, and then probably what many would have thought his best player was coming into the season, hasn't even played that well. Um, So yeah, could be even better
Yeah.
days ahead for Kevin. He keeps rolling on 5-1. It's impressive. This is a big week for Carney. It seems like me and Carney could go drop into 3-4 territory here. I think the way projections are. Um, so I think that can kind of lead us into our next pretenders versus contenders, right? I don't know if there's anything much more you want to say on this matchup.
Over 5 point, actually, not even five. Let's call it a 4 point spread on this.
Oh, right.
Four and a
Um,
half, 4.5 spread on this. Who do you got?
I got Kev. I
Yeah,
got
you got
Kev
to go Kev
covering.
here. Yep. Alrighty. Let's get into contenders, pretenders. I don't think that this is going to give us the layout that we really want on this.
No.
I'll keep it up like this, Jack, just so the league can see it.
Yeah.
I got the fourth through ninth seed up on my other screen here.
Okay.
So four seed is me. I'm 4-2. I have 651 points for. Fifth seed is Ruffin. He's also 4-2, 626 points for.
Yeah.
Sixth seed is yourself at 3-3, 666 points for. Mark of the Devil. Makes sense. You are a terrible commissioner and just terrible human being in general. Seventh seed is Carney, also sitting at 3-3, only 580 points for. Eighth seed is Jill, 2-4, 593 points for. And then ninth seed is Rashid, 1-5, 592 points for. So let's, I guess, how do you want to start this?
Um, I think just kind of setting the tone here that like we're all super close in points. It's not even like someone's really breaking away points wise besides Kevin. Like
Yeah,
once we muck it up into that next tier, I think we're all within like 40 or 50 points, which from week to week is like 10
not
points
a
a
lot.
team. Not a lot,
Yep.
not a ton. So um that's the biggest thing. I mean, how do we want to do this? Do we want to start from the top of the standings? Because Kevin seems like especially if he gets a win this week, he's locked in. He's obviously a contender.
Yep.
He's not even in the game here.
Yep. Kevin's not in the game. I didn't put Ryan's team and I didn't put Bum's team in. So those are the top three seeds. Um,
Oh, but
are
I mean,
you,
they're both 4-2 though.
you
I
want me to
was
throw them in there?
Yeah, let's do it. I honestly think, I mean, nothing against the bottom teams. Like, yeah, they can get a win here and get the season going, but I thought we were doing the 4-2 and the 3-3 teams.
Okay. Shame on me, your show.
Anyway, no, here's
All right.
bad pre-show meeting by us. We should have hashed this out beforehand. That's on me.
Yep. No, that's all right. I'm putting them in.
I mean,
All
just
right.
because like if one of them lose this week, all of a sudden they're sitting at 4-3,
That's
back in
fair.
the mix of it.
Okay. So two seed, who does that fall to? Ryan.
Yeah,
So Ryan also 4-2. And then Bum 4-2. And their points for are almost identical, which is crazy.
yeah. Do you actually want to click on each team as we kind of go through them too? So much
Yeah,
work.
sure.
So
So much
needy.
work. You are very needy. Oh, what am I doing? This is Jill's team.
Jack top, Tim bottom.
All righty. So Ryan, second seed right now. He is going to get Jonathan Brooks back at some point in this season.
And Keon
Um,
Mitchell.
and Keon Mitchell. I think obviously Derrick Henry has looked phenomenal, but Keon Mitchell looked great last year while he was healthy. To
Yeah,
give
and
him,
I think the tougher thing for him is Justice Hill is like actually like pretty good. You figure maybe Mitchell takes that Justice Hill role in with that offense, but he might have kept him at bay here.
yeah, we'll see how it works out. I guess any concerns with this roster in general?
No, and I think maybe we should have I mean, me personally, I wasn't a huge fan of the trade, but after reevaluating after a week, getting Tony Pollard and kind of filling in that like every week RB2 role for him and being just a consistent running back, looks like a good move on his part.
Yep.
Um, I'm sure Tyler's still excited about Chubb if Chubb ends up coming back and playing well. That's one thing, but Pollard has looked consistent and maybe a little more of a safer hedge for Ryan here because he's got the pieces around. So he really just needed that floor more than that upside with Chubb. Um, like we talked about his receivers. I think his receivers are a strong part on his team. He's got a nice tight end, and Joe Burrow is really kind of coming to his own the last few weeks.
Okay, so let's throw it right now. Contender or pretender?
Yeah, that's what you were right to have him kind of maybe off this because I think he's a contender, obviously, with
Yeah,
with
no
the
shit.
guys on his team. That's on me.
Thanks
That's
for
on me.
wasting everybody's time in the fucking league, Jack. All right, we really gonna do bum? Is this the next one that we're gonna waste our time
Yeah, I
on?
might have I might have a hot take on bums.
Okay, go ahead. Talk me
Spoilers.
through it.
Jordan, I get you're gonna have McCaffrey when he comes back and you have Jordan Mason in his
If,
place. But
if,
if he comes back and Mason's been a little banged up here, he's clearly the guy if he's playing and McCaffrey's not playing. But Chubb right now, it seems like he has a lot of eggs in the basket of Chubb. And if he doesn't come back strong, it's just a concern. And Diggs has looked good, but Nico Collins looks like he's the guy there. So when Collins comes back, Diggs maybe he's definitely still a wide receiver too, but he's not going to have the same production. And then I think the flex spot is a little shaky for Bum. He's got a lot of guys that could be good in a few years, and we're going to dynasty. I respect it. Um, but like an every week starter, Jackson Smith and the Jigba has been good, but maybe expecting a little bit more coming into the year.
yep.
So I still think, as I'm all saying all this, no, I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna go pretender. Could lose this week, falls to 4-3,
Okay.
and maybe
All right. Hey,
slips out of this playoff
all right.
race.
All right. You got him as a pretender. Okay, Jack. All
And
right, your funeral. All right. I am not going to play him in as a pretender. So you know what? Let me make two columns here.
you see some of my points though, right?
I do. And you know what? Some of the points that we talked about when we had the very first episode where we were going over his team, and hey, it's an older team. And I think we're starting to see some of the wear and tear show on his team.
Dallas hasn't looked as good, and CeeDee Lamb
Dallas has
slowed
not
down a
looked
little
good
bit.
at all. All right. So, Jack, you have Bum Down as a pretender. I am going to have Bum Down as a contender for now.
For
See what
now.
happens with him. I will say, you know, we talked about Nick Chubb. I just shot Bum a couple of quick texts. You know, figure I'd get a couple of nuggets for the episode here.
Smart.
It is smart. You know, that's what you do when you're professional and you're not just fucking winging it like you are. You got 2 days off in a row. You can't figure this shit out. Give me a fucking break. Okay. All right. But Nick Chubb, you know, this was about getting one of his guys. He wanted to keep Tony Pollard, but I respect it. That Nick Chubb is one of his guys that he wants to root for, and that's where he wants to go. So yeah, I hope the best for him. That Nick Chubb comes back and he's the same guy that he was. Um, I think a little bit of this season is really riding on Chubb. That he's got to be, I don't know, a solid RB2 minimum. Why are you giving me that look right now?
No, no, it's fun. It's fun rooting for fairy tales. I get
All right, okay,
it.
all right, all right. So let's go to me, 4 seed. Why don't you go ahead and talk through my team?
Yeah, I mean, Jay Daniels has obviously been a huge boost for you. Um, I mean, I think you liked Kyler coming into the season. This is kind of similar numbers as you'd expect, kind of going into the year. So yeah, I like your quarterback situation, and Neighbors is good too. But besides that, I think it's a little little shaky. No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Bijan's obviously a stud, and I feel like you have like a RB1, a wide receiver one, and like that can carry a team. And then you still got like Drake London as a wide receiver two. It probably flirts with wide receiver one status right now as that second guy. And I mean, yeah, your RB2 and flex situation can be tough because it almost feels like you just got to pick the right matchups and things don't always go right. Kind of picking between like a few different second level guys. So, With that being said, I think Rice or Pacheco, maybe even both, come back just in time for you here.
I
I
think
think
Rice is done for the year, Jack.
no, he's done for the year.
Yeah,
Wasn't there some like
there was conversation of maybe he could come back, but he's missed the remainder of the year. He's done.
yeah, yeah, that's still I think you have your London and your neighbors pieces there, and you kind of just got to fill around them. And Lad's been solid. Keon maybe opens up a little bit second half. And you get Algier. I think there's some matchups maybe you can play both him and Bijan. Um, I still like you as a contender. I think you end up slotting into like the 4 or 5 range, which I think is probably where you're at right now,
Yeah,
anyways.
I'm the fourth seed right now. I agree. I think that if I do make playoffs, it's probably like seed 4 through seed 6. Um, I think London is actually like Jack. I want to say he's a top 5 receiver in the year,
Wow, he did have a couple huge games, right? Yeah.
number 5. And it's really been touchdowns is what's carried him. He had a bad week 1 against Pittsburgh, which I don't know. I would expect that,
Yeah.
but he's been really solid for me. Pretty happy with him. Running back situation is a little scary for me to say the least. We'll see what happens with Najee and Javante. I was obviously hopeful going into this year that those two guys would take a step forward. As we've previously mentioned, I definitely have concerns, like you said, about the flex position too, where I feel like every week I am not the better lineup, but I always put up a floor of like 100 points.
Yeah.
The only time I haven't put up 100 points is what was it, against Ryan when I had Rice and Christian Watson put up 0 points and get injured.
Oh yeah, you're the week from hell.
Yep.
And someone I missed earlier, Rico Dowdle. I think he's really taken over the RB1 there in Dallas, and that's looked like a piece that you could probably play in the right matchups.
We'll see what happens, man. Big Fab. Big Fab I put down to get him. So
Yeah, I'll take
hopefully
that
he
12
can.
and 18, and even when they got blown out last week, get a solid 8 point floor there.
Yeah,
Maybe
oh
that's
yeah,
his floor going
PPR.
forward. Yeah.
PPR managed to put up what was this? 30 receiving yards, but got 5.5 points for that. Gotta love it. All right, so you have me as a contender. I'm gonna put myself as a contender as well. Okay, so that brings us to Ruffin here, where all right, so Ruffin, let's talk through this. Brock Purdy, the only quarterback. I don't love that. He'll find someone and he'll start someone different. Um, Eckler, Bigsby, which Bigsby with the hamstring for ETN. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, we've talked about his wide receivers pretty extensively on this episode. He's got 4
Right.
studs. You got to feel great about that. Does have Singletary, does have Swift, who has looked better recently. I think Rashad White is trending down.
Yep.
Um, Overall, pretty decent depth. I do like his team here. I think that running backfield is a concern though, where he doesn't. I mean, we'll see what happens with Mostert, but where are you at on this?
Yeah, I think if Tank can really take control of that backfield, that would be just a huge boost for him. I know Jacksonville hasn't been great, so it's tough for running backs to get going on some bad teams, but especially if ETN misses a week and Tank has a chance to get a strong hold on that backfield, that would be huge for him. And yeah, let's click on DeAndre Swift real quick because he's kind of pushed Ruffin's upside here. Yeah, RB9 on the season, 3 straight weeks, 26, 19, and 19. That's again
Huge
having that in
weeks.
the lineup is, I mean, yeah, kind of easier matchups, you can say. Jacksonville, Carolina, the Rams. But I mean, there's some easy games coming up on the schedule too, and he's proven enough when there was maybe some whispers after the first 3 weeks, and maybe did Chicago overpay for him? Maybe some Roschon Johnson getting in the mix, but that's been the exact opposite of what's happened. So I still think there is a move for Ruffin to be had, and maybe he, like you said, with the Rashid and Chuba Hubbard, or they can work out something bigger. Because if he does get one more running back,
Yeah.
I think he's in great shape. Because like you said, White's downtrending. Mostert could be good, but I think they like Jalen Wright enough to keep him involved in the offense.
Yep.
And Singletary's been solid. I can't trash talk Singletary anymore after the last time, but I don't think you feel super confident week in playing him every week. I guess is where I'd be with that. But
I'm with you.
With all that being said, I like Ruffin as a contender, especially because of the upside of a Chase, a Debo, and like Chase can just win you a week in one game. So just the upside of that, and he's got enough running back plays where at least two of them hopefully pan out for him.
Okay, and Jack, we got to hurry this up. We got 7 minutes left
All
here.
right. Yeah, you want to touch on Ruff a little bit then, or
Let's just keep moving forward. I got him. For now, I'm going to have him as a contender. I kind of want to see how everything else plays out, and I might adjust that. So you, Jack, I'm going to make this one really quick. There has not been a season where you have not made playoffs, correct?
I think one I didn't make it 1 year.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, I think you have a solid team. You know, I love Chase Brown. I think he's a dude, and hopefully he gets some more play and takes over that backfield. You got the depth at receiver. I think Kamara obviously down week this week, but overall has looked solid, and Hunt's going to get you through the stretch here of a couple of weeks that you need.
Yeah.
So I think this one's pretty clear that you are a contender. You also have high points for a 6 seed, 666, which I think is pretty comparable to actually more than what Ryan or Bum have. So win could vault you up quite a bit.
Right. Right.
All right.
Um, well, before you jump ahead, I like me as a pretender here. No, maybe it's the pessimist in me or trying to reverse jinx it, but I don't know. Kamara on that offense, I'm a little scared that that offense might just shut him down, or maybe, I mean, maybe he gets traded somewhere too, and that might boost him up or what. But I mean, I'm relying on Dobbins. I don't love my quarterback situation with Richardson Williams, even though Williams has looked better. And I feel like without Nico Collins right now, my receivers are a bunch of wide receiver twos where I just gotta pray that like one of them has a bigger week.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm a little nervous about my team. I think there's four or five teams that are clearly better than me. It's gonna end up being me and Carney kind of for that last spot would be my guess.
Okay. Um, let's keep it rolling here. We got like five
Yeah.
and a half minutes. So we got Carney. We like his lineup, but his depth is no good.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have a lot of guys on the bench. So where are you at on Carney? What's your gut tell you on this?
My gut tells me Pretender. He even like we've seen the last few weeks, he's gotten a little banged up, and it's been tougher for him to win some games. I know he had a big week a couple weeks ago, but um, yeah, if he has one more big injury where a guy's out for like 4 or 5 weeks, it might be the end of him, and he's kind of expecting a lot from some of his studs.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you too. I think that he probably doesn't make playoffs. Injuries are going to happen to everybody.
Yeah,
And I don't think that he has the depth to ride through the injuries. And I feel like a lot of teams that have won championships have done it on the back of injuries, or excuse me, have done it on the back of depth versus just having a starting lineup. All right. So Jill, where is she?
New Henny.
Yep. All right. So Jill right now, 2-4, 593 points for. What are your thoughts? Contender, pretender.
Um, this one's tough. I really like Jill's team, but I think I just have to go Pretender the way her team's been trending, especially with like the Jets getting Adams. Might slow Wilson down a little bit, even though I made the case opposite of that in the previous sode. Um, but she's kind of relying on Tua to come back and Tua to come back healthy and get that offense rolling again, which definitely could happen. And if that happens and Achane and Waddle start playing like they have in the past, then her team looks a lot scarier. But
Yep.
I think as of right now, it's just a little too shaky. So I'm going Pretender.
I'd agree with you. I think Pretender as well. And that matchup, I'm sorry, it was Jill versus Rashid, right?
Yep.
I think that might be the fork in it for Jill there.
Right. For either one, right? Lose, lose. If either one of
Yeah,
them
yeah.
lose, yeah.
Appreciate you correcting me there in a big
Sorry.
spot.
Sorry.
It's all right. Rashid, we had number one dynasty team overall to go into the year.
Yep.
1-5. 1-5 hasn't even put up 600 points, has averaged less than 100 points a week so far. Disappointment to say the least. I guess where are you at on this?
It's just week in, week out. He's having trouble playing the right guys, and it's like flipping a coin sometimes with some of these matchups, and you think he has a good matchup on paper, and he comes out and throws up a dud. And I still, I'm sticking to our analytics, our formulas. Rashid's a contender. He wins this week and makes a run here. Maybe rattles off three of the next four. That brings him to 4-6. And then he's right there. He's in within striking distance. I still like Rashid's team. I think he's had some bye weeks already, so he should have his guys for a lot of the season. And yeah, I I think he makes a run at it.
You know, it's funny you said that because I am in the same boat as you. Maybe this is take lock for both of us, but Rashid, man, you got to get a W this week. You have to get a W, and you got to make a run here. And we're rooting for you, guy. All
Show us
right.
something. We need it. We need it as much as you do. The pod needs
You
it.
know what? You know what? And just because maybe one week we say, we don't like your wide receiver matchups, don't get angry. Start the right guys. All right. You leave points on the bench every single week. You just had a terrible habit of doing so. It's time for you to lock in. All right. So Rashid, we got as a contender. I know you and I had talked about in text sticking or planting our flag on one team as a hard pretender and planting our flag on one team as a hard contender. So is Bum who you're going to choose for your pretender?
Uh,
Do it. Do it. Do it.
I would have gone me, but I can't go me. That's a cop out. So
That is
I'll
a cop
go
out.
bum pretender.
Okay.
And
You know what?
Is Ryan a cop? All right, sorry, you do your pretender first.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is Ryan a cop out contender? Right. That's a cop out. He's gonna be a contender. Ryan.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. He's a fucking what, 2 seed right now? Are you kidding me?
I'll go rough. Rough contender. Get
Rough
some brown
contender. All righty.
get some browning points back.
Try to keep the league as happy as we can on this.
Less than a
All right.
minute.
Okay, in a big spot here. You know what? Just to see Ryan's toxic tilt in text message, Ryan, you are my pretender. You don't have the running back depth. You're not the guy. You're going to fall out of the playoffs here. You and your wife, first season, both running GMs, not going to be in playoffs. Lock it up. I'm locking it right now. You're done. You're done.
Too busy raising the kid.
Too busy raising the kid. Got to get your priorities straight. You have to get them straight. All right. My contender, Rashid, you got to show me something here in a big spot.
Wow.
All righty. So I think that this Zoom is going to cut out on us in any moment. Happy
Yeah.
we got through this. Anything you want to add?
No, favorite episode so far, I'd say.
All righty. Well, I'm sure the league's not going to be too happy one way or the other